Now, music and festivals. We've been counting, and we reckon there's going to be over 70 major pop festivals this summer, and about 1.5 million people are going to go to them. But given the puddles and the often inaudible music, just what is it that attracts people to the festival experience? As you can probably tell, I'm not a great festival fan, but the Culture Show have insisted that I come along to one of the more hip and alternative festivals to see if I can be converted. And that is why I'm now at a holiday camp in Sussex. All Tomorrow's Parties kicks off this summer's festivals. It takes over Cambersands holiday camp on the south coast for 2 weekends, finishing tomorrow. Billed as a no-frills alternative music festival, its unique selling point is that it's the musicians who choose the lineup. But it's going to have to go a long way to win me round to the festival experience. Don't get me wrong, I love music. I've played it all my life and I love going to see it live. So why is it that I have never really bought into the festival experience? It's not just about the camping and the puddles and the loos. It's much more about the musical experience itself. The fact is, if you're standing in a huge field full of people listening to music at full blast through a massive PA system, you're not actually hearing the detail, to my mind, of what's going on stage. Yes, it's a great place to meet your mates and drink beer, but let's not pretend that it's all about music. I am definitely outnumbered. Across the country, festivals are more popular than they've ever been. One theory is that they reflect our lazy culture. People go to festivals to tick off live music for the year, rather than actually putting in the effort and supporting gigging bands. All Tomorrow's Parties is supposed to be for the independently minded music fan. Maybe it can restore my faith in the festival scene. A really positive thing about this festival is you don't have to bring your tent with you, so you're not at the mercy of the elements. You get one of these great chalets. Sitting room. Good kitchen for self-catering, no more need for those nasty burger vans. And how about this? Proper shower and, as an alternative to a portaloo, your own throne. What's the ethos behind All Tomorrow's Parties?
Well, it's just like an alternative to the bigger festivals. You know, it's all held in a holiday camp, and we invite a curator, and they select all the bands, and it's like making a mixtape for your friends, really. So it's like taking the record collection and putting it on the stage.
For the 2 days I'm here, the lineups have been chosen by New York band of the moment, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and psychedelic folk singer Devendra Banhart. Personally, I've never sort of been drawn to these huge outdoor festivals because I've been very kind of dissatisfied sitting at the back of a huge packed field and actually not being able to hear the music that I came for in the first instance. Was that something that you were thinking about when you thought about basically a holiday camp, put the music inside?
Yeah, I think it's by doing it in a sort of like a smaller arena of 3,000 people, it makes it more intimate.
I don't know how intimate the stages feel yet, but the bands are certainly very neighbourly. Indie rock trio The Liars will be playing up to 10 festivals in Europe this summer. Do you get at all frustrated with the fact that festivals are kind of big business now? You know, they're kind of commercial, can be very sort of corporate.
It's difficult in that sense, I think, because, you know, obviously you're suddenly lending your support to something which you have no idea about. It becomes out of your... I mean, the best festivals are the smaller ones, the intimate ones, and I just think, you know, festivals is a good word. You can throw it around, you know, put on 4 bands and call it a festival, you know, and it's fun, you know. That's a really good way to do it, I think, and I think a lot more people are doing that now. What about the audience here at ATP? Do you think they're a discerning crowd? They're wasted, right? OK, so the partying's the same as any other festival, but what about the music? A weekend ticket here costs 125 quid, pretty standard for a festival. For that, I get to see 36 bands. I don't recognise many of the groups on the running order, but I do want to check out The Liars. Experience-wise, that in there to be part of a crowd, but actually a very discerning crowd, because they might think that everybody in their audience is really drunk.
but I don't think that's true. I actually think they've come here for the music, so you can actually stand in a group of people who are really, really into the music. And when you're standing in a crowd like that, you can actually feed off their energy as well. And then if you've got a band like that, which quite honestly, when I was younger, I used to be well into heavy metal, but I always felt the heavy metal was lacking something, and that is what it's lacking. Don't ask me why, but that's brilliant. Just brilliant.
I've just surfaced on day 2. Day 1 was a real wake-up call for me about why I should go to festivals, or at least come to all tomorrow's parties, because the way that things are laid out here is that it's a genuine voyage of discovery. You get a list of bands, most of whom you haven't heard of, and then you find yourself late night listening to something about the Liars, which is completely out of the ordinary and anarchic, standing there thinking, why do I like this? Don't know why I like it, don't really know what they're doing, but they really mean it. And that's what music's about, is communicating that kind of meaning. So why aren't there more festivals out there doing exactly this kind of programming?
The festivals aren't in the hands of people that give a shit about music. The festivals are in the hands of people that organize it and approach it from a very distant place, and are there to make money, and that's the truth. There's a lot of money to be made in music, a lot of merchandise to sell.
There does seem to be a backlash against the super festival. The alternative ones are on the rise. But there's now competition for this growing market. Mean Fiddler, organisers of Reading, Leeds and Glastonbury, and part-owned by corporate giants Clear Channel, are this year launching an event called Latitude, their own version of the alternative festival. The smaller independent organisers may have a fight on their hands.
They're trying to buy artists and festivals and what have you, yeah, they've made offers to us to sort of like to do stuff with them. But my whole thing is that we're not about like trying to make loads of money. We're trying to just keep working on stuff that we believe in. And when you know, if we lose that interest, then we'll stop doing it.
I see so many little boys I wanna marry. You know, I see plenty little tiny kids I've yet to have. Well, I see maybe when the sun goes out, maybe when the moon goes out, I just see so many.
So it's the end of day 2. This has been a much quieter day, a lot more acoustic music. I've been standing in this hall, packed full of people, and I've actually been able to hear the detail of what those musicians are striving so hard on stage to put across to an audience. So if this is the future of festivals, these smaller festivals that can actually do service to that kind of music, then I say bring it on.
Well, that's my festival taste sorted, but what else is out there? Here's a fan of festivals of all shapes and sizes, Annie Mac.